access keyword triggers that you have already set up for me to get back to certain content. Like, for example, you have there one that says, check other bot, check, what is this? I think you have something like, see two bots talking with each other, right? I think Colin mentioned that earlier today.
Yeah,
I know you've shown it before, right? But because it kind of got lost in the stream of the past few days, it's not easy to kind of get back to. So I'm not sure if there's a list of keyword triggers you can post for us so we can go back into your existing demo bot and pull those things up, which would be helpful. Similarly, like other day sessions, I'm able to get back to that when you happen to either post that link or I have to scroll back several days in order to find that link in the chat log and then click on that to be able to see that listing again, only because I don't know the keyword trigger to get to there.
Pre-training replay, pre-training video.
Right. Yeah, I know you have it there, but I'm saying most folks who are viewing this may not have access to that list, so they don't know what keywords to key in, right? And I noticed today you put something up recently. What can you do was another keyword you put in now, which actually brings up a menu of sorts of things we can go watch, right?
Right.
But again, that keyword may not be something most people know, so they'd be missing out on that kind of content. So again, if there's just a listing of some of the keywords that we could keep in our back pocket, so to speak, so this way we'll be able to query the bot and view those kind of things. That'll be helpful.
I could do something like this. I could create a keyword that says
right, that lists the keywords. That'd be great. That'd be like a library little index, right?
Yeah, and then whenever if you type in keyword or keywords, it will just kind of give you back a list of different keywords that you can type into the bot. Okay, and honestly, a lot of the content inside the bot's not actually accessible because a lot of the content is literally just content that we create on the live demos. So I create
on the spot. Right.
Yeah, and then I just don't actually link it into keywords or anything. So
yeah, but there are some functions that you do have that are meant to be used over and over and over again, right? So some of those would be great. Okay, the other thought I had was for some folks who might be familiar with some of the funnel building platforms, they've had like training sessions where they've actually done what they've called live funnel hacking, which essentially just means somebody goes and picks out a decent looking funnel or one that's interesting, and then whoever's giving that session that day goes out and tries to replicate as much of it as possible, but you're working off of a live model, right?
Right.
I think that could be interesting. Like today I was looking up several bots that have been rated as most interesting or most innovative or most etc. So it became kind of interesting, like if we had that as part of an ongoing series where, again, for folks who sign up for that ongoing kind of live bot hacking type scenario, that could be good because then they can say, hey, this is a really cool bot that I found. How much of this can we replicate in ManyChat? And as you've done already with me several times, you'd be like, oh, that functionality? No, you can't do that in ManyChat. That has to be in a custom bot. And that's okay, but at least we're learning the distinction of where that line in the sand is, right? So I think that could be interesting because then people can have a finished bot to look at from a third party, and then we can kind of replicate as much of the functionality that makes sense to do so. So that's another thought that might be helpful.
Yeah, and we could totally do that. Even I do funnel hacking for people sometimes and show people how, if you use ClickFunnels or something, how to go in and just hack somebody's funnel and basically just copy their funnel. That's essentially how I built this funnel right here, was just did a funnel hack from somebody else's funnel that was really similar to this. Yep. So, and we could do the bot hacking. It's relatively
because otherwise we're asking people to kind of come up with ideas on the fly. And I think that's a good process, but it's also advantageous sometimes to look at something that's finished and say, how do we replicate that? Right? Okay. Along those lines, I was looking today at two sites that had some interesting functionality. One was 1-800-Flowers, where they had one or two interesting things there that you may want to just at least query in terms of how we would do something similar. They have two different messenger bots, I think. Let me see if I can find you the link to the one I was looking at. Let's see, where is this? Okay. It's called 1-800-Flowers Assistance. Let me put it into the link here for you.
Yeah, as you can see, I already went in and played with these guys' bots before.
Yeah, is that the no? But that's a different one, John. Let me send you the address. I just put it in chat. That's what I meant. They have two different ones, two different kinds. Yeah, so try that one. So, right.
Yeah, so here they're using that, which is pretty cool.
So if we open that up, yeah, can you open that like in full messenger so it's easier to see?
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of questions based on this one. Now, this first part can apply to several sites, but right now, obviously, you have a little slider where you can go across and pick certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way in ManyChat to have that scrolling selection be dynamically generated? Or does it have to be something where you just put the things in there and they just stay until you change them manually? It's a manual thing, right?
The only thing that we can dynamically generate in ManyChat is the header and subheader. So the header and subheader in ManyChat, these guys, we could go in and reference some custom field if we wanted to, but I don't like doing that because it's really
it's not that practical.
Yeah, and it's non-rationalized data because I'm going to have the same data for every user. Hey, can I have some water?
Okay, so let's go back to 1-800 for a second.
Water, buddy.
Yeah, so let's try to go back to 1-800 for a second. Okay, so just pick any arrangement. It doesn't matter which.
Thank you.
Okay, and select any one of these. It doesn't matter which. Okay, yeah, so put an address in. Just 123 Main Street, New York, New York, 10010. Something really simple that we know is going to not exist.
That we know is not going to exist?
Yes. So like, 123 Main Street, New York, New York, 10010. Right. Now, what it's going to do is it tries to match this up and says, hey, that address doesn't exist. It's not a legitimate address. Here's some other ones we found that might be the one you're thinking of. Okay, so this, for example, is one of those functionalities where I'm saying, can we do something similar in ManyChat, or is this already part of a custom scenario?
I would say that this would be...
I would think it's custom because the permutations are way too many, right? It becomes a very long table like we did the other day with zip codes and such.
I would say that this is going to be a completely custom bot. Now, could we do something like this in ManyChat?
I'm not even sure it's worth it though, because you know your own address, right? So it's just more a curiosity question, more than anything else, whether that kind of thing could be done. Because if it can, then we can find multiple uses for that.
So it's something that we could look into, and we could possibly implement some rudimentary system, but it's going to be real complex to build because
and it's not really that worthwhile because again, most people know their own address, right? Okay, so pick an address, doesn't matter which one, pick one of those that they're suggesting to you. And so yeah, put in again, dummy name and phone number, doesn't matter which. Yes, that's fine. Okay, now this is the interesting part. Here, they're picking today's date, and they're automatically calculating what tomorrow is, and the day after is, and the day after that. So they're not forcing you to go to a calendar. They're at least bringing up to you the certain number of days that are about to come up, right? So would something like that be able to be done via Zapier and ManyChat, etc., to calculate the next few days?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
I thought you could actually, or maybe not in terms of buttons, but we could know what the next days are, right? But the question is, can you turn that kind of calculation into a button? And I guess you can.
Correct. We could know what the next days are. We could easily go in and calculate what the next days are, but
Right.
we can't go in. We can't go in and
create dynamic buttons
and do these.
Yeah, so we couldn't create dynamic buttons. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, again, this is what I meant earlier by if we quickly go through an existing site, right, we can easily say, yep, can be done, can't be done. And then at least it gives us ideas of maybe other things we could do that are similar. All right.
Now I'm not sure how much of this stuff we could do in Chat Fuel, because Chat Fuel, although their interface is harder to use for the average person, it's not as easy to build for the average
There's more
person.
programming capability, right?
Right. They let you do API calls right from inside their platform, where you can trigger an API call and then get some data back, so that a lot of the stuff doesn't have to use Zapier, so it's a little bit more robust there. But I would say that these guys here, these 1-800-Flowers guys, I would say that these guys have just hired somebody like me.
Oh yeah, of course.
Build a complete custom bot. Because now if we're doing a complete custom bot, then we can do whatever we want and make it relatively simple.
Okay. All right. So those are the two questions I had. I didn't dig much deeper into that site, but I'm putting another link to a different chat bot. And take a look at that if you can. And there's one functionality there that I thought was interesting. Okay, so let's go this one. Okay, find a Wingstop. Now, if you read what it says there, it's not only asking you for you to possibly enter your zip code and city, but it says if you're using a mobile phone, share your location.
Right.
Is that something we can implement?
Yeah, we can implement that in ManyChat. Yeah, we can grab a user's location.
Okay, so because that would avoid the whole thing of zip code, et cetera, right? If they're using a mobile phone, just share your location. Ah, okay, got it. It's a built-in function. Interesting.
See.
And what do we get back once you select that?
What we get back is a comma-separated pair of latitude and longitude.
And how would we go from there to finding the location of our store closest to you?
From there, what I would say that we would do is we would have to grab that lat long, pass that lat long out to some API to resolve it into a zip code, grab that zip code.
So we're back to that, right?
Yeah, and then hit that zip code to some lookup table.
Okay, got it. Yeah, okay, so that's where the complexity was, right? With the zip code, city, state, and being able to do that validation without doing some API call that requires a custom bot.
Right.
But in this case, for example, the function itself, send location, how would ManyChat normally use it? Like, how would they see it having value in terms of data that you collect?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure how they're what the.
So I'm assuming there's something we can do something with it, right? Otherwise, why collect it?
Yeah, because essentially you could always get the user's location if you see it's shown them their location plotted on a map right here. So I'm not sure what they exactly want us to do, and this is not physically my location, but I'm assuming that that's because I'm on a PC and not anything else. So, so I'm not sure what they want. So Colin shared this with us where we could go in and use this zip code API, and I believe I actually already have an account for this guy. This is what I believe, where this guy will go in and we can hit this API with a lat long.
Ah, okay.
So let's see. We want to do right here. I would say that's what we want to actually do. This guy right here. We're going to go in and give a lat long. We're going to go in and give a latitude and a longitude. And then from here, it's going to resolve us back. It's going to resolve us back an actual zip code from here, and then we could use that zip code to do whatever we want.
Interesting.
But once we start getting into more complex functionality like this, and at this point, these guys as well,
it's a custom bot.
I would say that these guys as well have completely went in and just built they've paid somebody to go in and build a custom bot, most likely.
Okay. All right. Those are the two things I dug up in our little break from the prior call. So I'm going to let everyone else just ask whatever they need to ask. Thanks, John.
Yep. No problem. So on that point, Amara, I know you really want to go in and keep building out this demo bot for this Italian restaurant, and we can keep doing that. But while we got everybody here, let's see. So let me show you that, Colin, because I didn't show you that and you didn't miss it. So you still want to see this still, where you can go in and check this other bot. And you get this other message, right? You want to see that. And that's pretty straightforward. So that's actually really straightforward. It's a lot more straightforward than you really think. So let's go in here and look at that guy. Where is that check other bot? So this guy's not really complex at all. So the flow is pretty straightforward. He just says, let's start the process. After you start the process, he just triggers a zap called check other bot. And then he sets a field, subscribe to restaurant bot, no. He just forces that guy set subscribe to restaurant bot. Then he routes you in here and he just basically gives you tells you to hold on, wait, checks the other bot, and then he basically gives you a link to the bot page, and then he waits some time and says, okay, now that's done. And that's basically because we want to wait for this zap right here to finish its process and be done with that process. So now he goes in and checks this condition. Restaurant bot is true. So that's that same guy right here. You see that we go in and set restaurant bot to a no to false. So we've set him false, and I know inside this zap that's triggered, we're going to go in and update him to true if I find him in my other bot. So so now I just check a condition to see if that's true. If it's not true, then I just say, hey, you're not subscribed to my other bot. You can subscribe to my bot below, then try again, then just allow you to try again. And then if you do, you just loop back up here. If that condition was true, then it just says, I see that you are subscribed to my other bot. I just send you a message. And then both of them say, hey, you can show me how. And we check to see if you actually pay for that content. And if you do, I actually don't give you the content at all because I haven't made the content yet. If not, then I open this flow. So pretty much everything is triggered by this zap right here, which is this zap right here. And this is pretty straightforward. So we just trigger that check other bot zap. So now literally we just use mini chat. We use find user by name. So we're going to use find user by name. And then we're just going to pick our other bot, our target bot, the demo restaurant bot. And we're just going to search for the user by name. So this could obviously misfire on us if we had two users with the same name. Obviously it could misfire. So a workaround for that is we could do something instead of, and we can't actually do it is the problem, is we can't do it is the problem because we can find a user by name, we can find a user by ID, we can find a user by a custom field. So that would be our other workaround. If we had users that had the same name, we could look by that custom field. And what I could put inside that custom field is probably I could put inside this user profile picture right here, because I'm assuming that this user profile picture is going to be the same for everybody. So it's going to be Facebook static URL to that user's profile picture. So I could store that inside a custom field, and I would have to do that in both bots. In both bots, I would have to store that custom field, and I could look up by that custom field. So it's obviously just easier to look them up by their username. So that's what I do. I look them up by their username, and then I only continue if username from this guy right here from step 2. So I'm using that username right there. I'll only continue if that exists, which means I found the guy. And then if I do find the guy, I come in, George. I come in and I just set that restaurant bot to true. You remember that guy that we had that conditional check right there again? We set him, we're setting this field right here, this restaurant bot. Remember, we manually set it to false right here every time to make sure that it's flagged false. And then because this guy could go in and unsubscribe at any time. So anytime we run this process, we set it to false in case he's unsubscribed, because that's one of the things he may do. So now in that step, we're setting this to true, so that because we know we're going to check that condition right there. So I go in and I set it to true. And then I just literally go in and send a message from my other bot, from that demo restaurant bot. You see here, we start with the demo bot. Here we look up somebody in the demo restaurant bot, and then we also send back a message from that demo restaurant bot. And I'm just going to use the step 2 user ID, which was the guy that I found from the demo restaurant bot. Good night, Shamim. Just that guy's ID that I found by looking up as his name. And I just say, I just found you from my other bot. And that's it. Pretty straightforward. So George, not that one's not complicated. So it seems like wizardry or magic, but it's really simple. So, and that's how it works. So does anybody else have any questions or concerns that they want to go over? Or do you guys just want to go in and work some more on this Italian restaurant bot on that demo? Well, I'm going to assume then that you want to just continue working on this because you didn't say anything. So I know here we got to go in and actually make their menu, and we got to go in and reserve a table, because I know to complete this welcome flow right here, these guys are empty and there's nothing here in this main menu. So let's look here. pretty sure that we made a main menu already. That just links in to the other menus. So these menus are empty. So let's go back out to good old Johnny Carino's. And let's find his menu. Seriously, guys, there's no pictures? You have no pictures of your food whatsoever? What type of a restaurant would not have pictures of it? I mean, how could you literally not have any pictures of your food? I'm not sure how that's possible. So let's see if we can find any famous restaurants in the U.S. And we'll just go steal their content. So these guys look like they could be good. Let's see if these guys have a menu. These guys also have no pictures of their food. Maybe this is like an Italian thing where they just don't put pictures of their food or something. These guys also have no picture. I'm not sure if you're allowed to put pictures of your food if you're Italian or not. So it doesn't look like you're allowed to.
It's against the Italian TOS.
It looks like it. I mean, not a single one of these people, not a single one of these guys so far have had a not a single one has any pictures of their food at all. These guys have a menu.
They've just taken pictures of their, pretty much like of their paper menus, I guess, which don't have photos.
Okay, so we'll just hack around it. We'll find our own. No big deal. So, this is this guy. So now I'm assuming that what we could do is just give them some quick replies to go in and filter first between appetizers, salad, fresh vegetables, pastas, signature dishes, seafood, meats, right? I'd really like to find somebody that has like a menu with categories. That would be good. This guy doesn't look like he even has a functioning website. Pizza, appetizers, salad, entrees, desserts. Okay, so let's just steal those guys then. appetizers, salads, pizzas, entrees, desserts. Now, so we could do this way. We could do this way, or we could go in and have a drinks menu and a food menu and just give them the option between drinks and food. And then if they hit food, we could give them these food items. If they hit drinks, we could break that down probably into wines, cocktails, mocktails, and mocktails, right? We could break it down into wine, cocktails, mocktails, and normal drinks. So which way do you prefer to do it, Amir? Olive Garden, of course, Olive Garden is going to have. Of course, these guys should definitely have. These guys should definitely have a. They should definitely have something. So these guys have appetizers. What's on their menu? They've got appetizers, soup, salad, breadsticks combination, traditional favorites, desserts, non-alcoholic beverages. So I'm assuming you don't have a preference that you want to do it, Amir. So I think that I would just probably prefer to do drinks and food. So we want to have drinks. We want to have food. Non-alcoholic drinks. It's fine. And this was going to be, we have appetizers, salads, soups and salads, pizzas, entrees, desserts. So that should be good, right? To get what we need there. So now we got to go in and make these guys for each one. So here are our wine selections. For wines, we're just going to go in and put a card. Olive Garden, I bet you guys had, where are you guys at? These only have non-alcoholic beverages. Oh, here we go. Wines. bottle. Now, are you? I'm assuming you're going to want these guys to be able to actually place an order, right? Eventually from this menu. I'm assuming you're going to want them to actually be able to select this wine, add this wine to their cart, etc. So that's going to make doing this a little bit more complex, because we have, for this particular wine, we have some multiple selections. And we need a bottle. Give me any good information about that. So I guess we could do this, maybe. Just barely fit in there. Okay. So we got that guy right there. We got one guy, so we need to go in and grab one more guy. Porta Vista Rosata. Hello, it's John. Hello. So now let's grab one of these guys. Some white wine. Now we've got a different wines. The only thing I don't like about this though is because there's no call to action. There's not. I can't make a easy call to action to tell you to add this to your cart. And I don't know if it's intuitive enough that I don't know if it's really intuitive enough that if you just click on that, that it's gonna add it to your cart. So I guess I could just route you into a confirmation to say, hey, you need to confirm adding this to your cart, and that could possibly work, but it's not a real elegant solution. So not a real elegant solution. And now here I'm just gonna have a whole bunch of stuff here. So but this is how I would do this. Current item. Yeah, totally possible. Topos, thanks, buddy. Are you leaving? Leaving? Well, good night, Topos. See you tomorrow, buddy. Now I can see I already messed up here. So you got the point. What we've done here is now we've got some custom field that's called current item and current price. It's called current item and current item price. Good night, buddy. We've got a current item price, so that what we can do is we can go in and easily we can, yes, the training is recorded. There's a conditional clause on that, but the training is recorded, yes. And you can access it, right through my bot itself. So now what we're going to do is we've got this. Every time somebody is going to click this, we're going to take and just update that the current item that they have is whatever they've clicked on, and the current price that they have is whatever that thing's price is. All right. So just going to save this little guy over here. Good night, Topos. Just going to save this little guy over here. Then we're going to create some message. Would you like to add this to your order? The only thing I'm not going to like about this, hey, do you have a little rag on, Kita? The only thing I'm not going to like about this is if I do this, I can't use this. Thanks a lot. If I do this, I can't use this generically I'm going to have a whole bunch of copies of this because I can't do this. Okay. And we can go in and add some conditional check there. That's no big deal. We can add some conditional check there. The only thing I don't like about this is if you the only thing I don't like about this is what's going to happen if you hit no. So anyways, let's just route these guys in here. And what I think we'll do, if you hit no, so now if you say you want to continue browsing our menu, we can route you back there. If you say no, you don't want to continue browsing our menu, then I'm pretty sure that we had some other. Yeah, what's up?
I think if he hit no, if he is underage or something like this, we can suggest the soft drinks menu. What do you think?
Oh, that's not what this is doing. This is just asking him if he wants to add it to his order. So this is just saying, hey, do you want to add this to your order? Yes or no. So yes, we're going to add this item to your order. No, no, we're going to go in, and if you say no, you don't, then I'm just going to ask you, do you want to continue browsing our menu? If you say yeah, I'm going to pipe you back in here to the beginning of our menu. And then here, if you say no, I really need to pipe you into some content that's asking you what you actually want to do next, right? So we'll come back to that guy later. So that guy will come back to you later. All right. So now if you say yes, we'll get a current item quantity from you. So now we're going to get this current item quantity from you. And then from here, we can trigger a zap. Call it add to order. If you could just give me 30 seconds. So here what we'll do is we'll just trigger a zap now to actually add this to the user's order. So now we also, we also need to go in and add a content, because once we go in and add that to his order, once we go in and add that to his order, we want to give him a call to action back, and we can only do that with the content. And we also need a content for that. So now we got that content. And this is added to order. So now we can add more items. We're just going to go right back to that menu. Now the only thing here, I just really don't like this actually, because it's gonna route him in. I don't want to route him to this. I don't want to statically from this content. I don't want to statically from this content. I really don't want to statically from this content route him into this Pigeon Forge menu. I really don't want to do that at all. So I think we need to rethink this flow a little bit and go ahead and add in for this condition. Where he has got a preferred location, so that I can route him into a menu, but that menu could first check his preferred location, and then he be routed into the actual he'd be routed into the actual menu for his actual preferred location. Because if not, we're going to be doing, if not, we're going to be asking this guy to do, we're going to be asking this guy to do a lot, in which we're going to be routing him to a menu where we're going to say, hey, we have multiple locations. And then he's going to go in and pick one of those locations, see their menu, add something to his order, get that added to his order, and then bye. I love you too. See you in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I'll come home tonight. Don't worry. So, I don't want to do that, right? We obviously don't want to, good night, I love you. We obviously don't want to route him to, we obviously don't want to send him back to a menu and every time him be mashing what the menu, what location he wants to do it. He wants to pick a menu from, because he's already done that and he's going to get aggravated. So I think that, I think what we actually want to do is go ahead and set some preferred location for him. So we could do that now or we could do it later. The only issue that I have with doing it later is if we do it later, then we're going to have to re-engineer this entire flow on top of it after we already build it out. So it seems like it's going to be better to go ahead and build it out right now. So let's just do that. Let's get rid of this guy right here. Let's go ahead and route this guy into my menu. Let's go ahead and route this guy into my menu. Publish that. Now let's go to this main menu here. And let's come here. And let's come in here to settings. And let's add a new custom field. And I've never done this before, so just keep this in mind. I've never done this process here before, so this is also going to be a little bit of trial and error here, but I think we could probably work it out. This is what I want to do here. So here I want to have some condition. And let's just say set this condition. Let's route him there. Let's route him there. And let's have another one of those guys. Let's have another one of those guys. And this is the actual menu. So let's route another one of those guys there. And what did we want to do? Oh, we wanted to grab this guy here. Route that guy there. And then if not, we'll route him up there. All right, so that makes sense pretty much. We're going to start off with a condition. And if that, with that condition, we're going to check what this guy's preferred location is. And if he's got a preferred location set already, we're just going to route him into the menu for his preferred location so that he doesn't have to go back in and continuously do this. And then we'll go in and set his preferred location whenever he does some action that we think we want to use based on that action, we want to go in and use and override this. So for that, we could go in and literally do that at this point. I know he's on the Pigeon Forge menu right here, right? So at this point in this zap, I could set his preferred location here. I don't know if this is the best place to do it, but I think I could go in. I think we can go in and manage that and not have any problem there. So now once he goes in and he says, hey, I want to add this to my order. Yes. How many do you want to add? Quantity. So we're going to trigger out this zap here. We're going to trigger out this zap add to order, and we're going to also set his preferred location to Pigeon Forge, because now what we're going to do on the Zapier side is once he's actually on the Zapier side, we're going to push him out a message and confirm that this has been added to his order. And then after we push him out that message, we're going to then go in and push him down this piece of content right here that says added to order. And then we're going to ask him, what does he want to do now? And he can either add more items, which will route him to the main menu. And whenever he goes to the main menu, we'll see that he's got his preferred location set to Pigeon Forge. We'll route him right back into that Pigeon Forge menu, which will allow him to just bypass this step right here, because we don't want him to because he's not going to want to do that. He's just, if he does that over and over, he's going to get real pissed off about that. So I'm going to
for every item, you don't want to ask him the address again, right?
Yeah, I don't want to ask him every time what location do you want to see the menu from, because he's just going to be like, well, that's stupid. So now somewhere, where is that guy at? Oh, he's right here. So now what we probably want to do is go in and do this guy right here, right? Now I'm all alone and I don't have anybody to get me coffee or tea or anything anymore. So
everybody went home.
Everybody's gone. So now what do we want to do here? Here, what we want to do is all right, we want to, so here I know we want to add an item to the list that we're going to have for him. We also want to probably go in and, okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is formatter numbers, and we are going to do a transform. We're going to do, I think we could just do this probably. Perform math operation. Shit. And we want to multiply. And we want to multiply current item price by current item quantity. So now we've got the total for now we've got the total for this particular line item that's being added to his pseudo cart that we're going to create for him right now. So we're going to go in and calculate. We're going to go in and calculate that guy. So now what we want to do is we can go in and say storage by Zapier. We are going to, I think we could just set a value here, honestly, is what I think. We can just go in and set a value here. That's how I do it. That's how I do it in my other bot. We could just set a value. I don't think we have any reason to have any key pair, so let's just set a value. Go back in and look and see what they asked me for. That was nothing. That was nothing important there. So here we got a key. I'm going to use this guy's user ID because I know that's unique. Use this order total. And what I actually wanted to do is not set value. I wanted to increment value. Use that same key. And this value is going to be whatever I get back from here. I also want to use storage via Zapier. And I want to push a value onto a list. I'm just going to call this order items. And what value am I going to put here? I'm going to put current item. As quantity. And that's going to be his price. I'm going to put them at the end of the list. I need to add a step. Now, can I take that whole value? Yeah, I can take the whole value. Great. Then I want to do another mini chat. And this time I want to push that content out to the user so that he has some call to action to continue and he's not dead in the water, because if he's dead in the water, he's not going to do anything. He's going to just say this is a stupid bot and he's going to move on. That's why we created that that's why we created that content.
John, next time this same client comes back into the bot at a subsequent visit, their preferences wouldn't be stored, correct? As far as location and such, they would have to reselect those again for the next order.
No, it's currently stored right now. So
even after they place the order and empty out the shopping cart?
At this point, yes, because we haven't wrote any logic to go in and
Right.
determine when do we want to clear their preferred locations. So,
Right.
So, and what I was thinking is we would give them. What I was thinking is we would go in and give them some way, like we need to give them some notification to let them know, hey, we've just set this as your preferred location.
Yeah.
And
to possibly change it, right? Because
Right.
today I'm going to this franchise, but tomorrow I'm in some other neighborhood. I'd rather go get from the other restaurant. Okay, cool.
It'd be much easier if we just targeted guys that only had one physical.
I know.
They're
Well,
gonna pay. They'll pay just as much,
right?
you know. I mean, they'll pay just as much, and it would be so much easier if we just targeted them. But
yeah, because for the second restaurant, you're not going to charge 100% the same price. It'll be incremental.
And most likely, you got different Facebook pages for all those different restaurants. Most likely,
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say you do. Most people have different
Yeah.
Facebook pages for their different locations. So
right. Let's just keep it simple then.
Too late for that.
You have multiple locations.
Yeah, too late for that. So this one's done. This zap's done. So what's my flow look like now? What my flow looks like, because I need to do this. I'm just doing this so I can test this thing. Now, what I would have typically did is this whole thing right here would have been its own flow called wines menu. But the reason I didn't do that here is because we already have a menu that leads to 3 other menus called Pigeon Forge menu, or other location menu, or other location menu. So that means that I would have, I got 4 menus already. So then I would have for 3 locations, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 27 menus plus 4, 31 different menu contents. That's why I didn't do that right now. That's why I didn't do that right now, because there's a lot of different menus. So I think for this demo, I don't like, see, that's why I don't like those buttons, because those buttons are, having 3 buttons, I just don't like. I could separate this, I guess, by going in and having 1 button that just says add to order, but then I have to go in, then I have no way to show a price, because then if I want to show a price, I got to get rid of this nice little content that talks about this wine. So I'm just going to leave it like that, even though I don't physically like it that much. So that's working now. The only thing that I've noticed that I need to do is trigger that zap. I don't think I actually need to do that step. I just don't like him waiting for 3 or 4 seconds without any idea what the actual bot is doing. I do know that I need to come over here to this content that I had open here. And do that. Now I can come back over here and add more items. Let's just try that again. Let's just try that again and see what the problem was. See, that's the part I don't like right there, is just that wait. It's like a 5-second wait, 6-second wait. Oh, sometimes I'm so stupid. I need a bottle of that. Probably I'll just take 3 bottles of that. So that worked now. Our conditional logic is working good where he's brought us in exactly where he's needed to be at. So now you got the gist of that, right? So now to finish this up, all we would be doing is replacing these generic menus with this block right here. So literally what we would need to, all we would kind of do is just come in here like this, grab that guy, copy him and paste him over here, right? And then have our next menu guy actually link into him. Have that guy flow in there. And then we just go in and update this with cocktails, right? And then have these guys all route into that guy.
Right. So at that point, the menu just keeps repeating itself, right? You just copy it over multiple times.
Yeah, at this point, we just keep copying this, and then we're going to go in and just edit this guy right here to here are our cocktail. Here are our cocktail selections, change our actual cocktails, and then go in and just update what our current item is and what our current item price is. And then that's all we need to do. So we just continuously do that over and over and over again for all our menu items. Every one of our menu item, we're going to go in and create the same way. We're going to go in and have some block like this. That will go in and essentially do the exact same thing. That's why we do it that's why I do it like I do it, because then one single zap can handle everything, and all we ever have to do is make sure that we just update what our current item is and what our current item price is and what our current item quantity is. As long as we update that, we can just use the same zap over and over, and it can go in and manage everything for us. So now at this point, if we keep building out this flow, then at this point it's just repetitive content, right? So we're not going to see anything new here. It's literally just going to be if I build out this entire menu, literally all it's going to be is me updating these pictures, updating this crap here, and then updating whatever data is being stored here. So I don't know if you guys want to go in and actually do that and see the same repetitive thing over and over, or if you want to move on to a new functionality and just assume that now we can go in and basically blow through some content, spend some time, and just actually put in the actual content there.
Yeah, I think from an instructional perspective, you already have accomplished what needed to be done, right? Because again, like just to repeat the same function again, well, I think just use up time as opposed to moving forward with additional functionality.
Correct. That's all we're going to do. Would you like to add this to your order? Yes, no. Would you like to continue browsing our menu? Yes. Pop you right back up here to our menu.
What about the payment process? Will that be done through your application, or is there another option as well?
I don't know. I don't know what other option that we have. I mean, we could do PayPal. So we could essentially do PayPal as a processor, but to do PayPal as a processor, it's not a pain in the ass. To do PayPal as a processor, all we have to do for PayPal as a processor is to come right here to these tools.
Right.
Come to these PayPal buttons.
And bring one of those in, right? Could you show us using your software, John? Because again, you just had more entry possibility.
Yeah. So for that, the user needs to check out. So we need to have our user check out. So for that checkout, I think the first thing that we want to do for that checkout is, what is the first thing that we want to do? Let's just give them some content first and say, yes, sure. So let's just trigger out as that, called fetch order. What is this? That was the store user's birthday, so let's go in and make a zap. Blah. I got 77 over 75. You see that? You gotta go in and that's double the price. It's 114. That is why you guys that's why I ask you guys for that money, because in order for me to do all this stuff, how much are they going to charge me? Amount being charged today is $222 for, I don't even understand what they're I don't even really understand how they're coming up with that, but I don't even know when this is going to remaining. Then shit, the next charge on my billing cycle will be $1,375 on April 26, 2018. So what's today? November. Hopefully I can go make some $1,300 between now and there. Yeah, no problem. I'm not sure if they, and I think that they, okay, it says they're done. I don't want to invite any team members. I don't want any team members. So now let's just look at that and see. Shit, they got rid of that completely, I guess. They were like, shit, you've given us enough money. Now I guess I'm unlimited. Now I guess I can do anything that I want. Now, with that being done, since I can do unlimited everythings, then we want to go in, and here we want to fetch an order. So this, we want to use mini chat as our trigger. Yeah, that is the second time that you saw me upgrade, because I was doing a training thing and I realized that, hey, I can't do this. I need to upgrade. But I'm not scared to spend money though. So you got to spend money. New triggers app event. So plus Amar was nice enough to donate $50 to me earlier. So that $50, you see where that $50 just went. Amar, it just went to Zapier. So if you want to donate another 50, buddy, if you want to donate another 50, no problem on my side. So now we want to use storage. In this storage, we're going to, in this storage, we want to do a couple things. We want to get a value. So now, just so you know, somehow, I'm not sure. Oh, we can go in and actually rename these guys. Get order total. I'm not sure if you know how to, if you know you can do that or not, to make this make this much easier to understand what is actually happening. You can go in and rename these steps so it actually makes sense to you exactly what's happening here. So we're going to go in and fetch this order total. And to be quite honest, I have no idea what that is. So let's go in, and we probably want to do that while we're here too. This is that tells us what that is. This is increment value, so this would actually be so this guy, the only reason that we're doing that is because I want to grab this guy right here. And we are going to get list values from here. Now here, all we need to do is, so here in this step in Zapier lets us kind of go in. Zapier lets us kind of go in and format stuff. Zapier lets us go in and format stuff. So how we want to actually display this list data. just check and see what time this is because I've got to go in and have a chat in just a little bit with one of my clients. So Zapier lets us go in and actually format this data here. So this pound S represents whatever, this pound S represents whatever is coming from the list. So if I were to do something like this, it would say item and then whatever data came from the list. And then I'm going to put these guys on a new line. And you'll be able to see that how it actually looks here. See, this is how it looks. So I could go in and if I wanted to remove the item, I could go in and remove that item. And now I want to go in and add a step. And let's go back in and look and see where is that. Please review your order. So now I want to use ManyChat. And I want to send a text message to user. And then we're going to grab that guy there. Check out. So now we're gonna ask this guy if he still wants to check out. If he still wants to check out, then we're gonna do that. And if he doesn't want to check out, So now there's that flow. All right, this is my confirmed checkout. I created that. Hopefully you guys are keeping up with actually what's going on. I created that because I've got that right there. And I want to push a content to a user now. So that was that guy. And pretty sure that that guy was confirmed checkout, right? So that's the content that we want to send him. Confirm checkout. So this guy was fetch order So to be quite honest, right now I'm a little confused on what I'm actually even doing. So to do that, that guy was, he wanted to check. So to do that, let's just push this guy back out to ourselves. And let's add some more wine to our cart. Just to make sure that everything's working so far as expected. Now I do want to check out. So not working as expected, probably because I've never published checkout. So now to save myself a huge pain in the ass, I'm just going to come over here and do checkout. Now you can see here's my order. I got all this crap right here. Do I still want to check out? Now, do I still want to check out? This is a whole process that we just built right now, that fetch order process.
Yeah.
So we don't
And
have
it shows
checkout
all the
process.
line items plus the total, right?
Correct. That's what we just built right now. We just built this fetch order process. So far, we built this. We built this add to order process, and we built this fetch order process. So now what we would actually need to do is build this.
The payment.
This checkout process that will trigger whenever we hit yes. We need to actually build that guy out. And we also need to build this restart order, which will allow us to actually restart an order. So we will do that.
Yeah, you're heading out, right? So we can do this when you get back.
Yeah, we will do that because I'm going to. What time is this? I gotta jump on a call here in about 15 minutes, and I don't even know what I'm supposed to talk to this guy about. So I got to go look at a report for the last month of what my developer's been doing for him, and then figure out what we've actually done for him so I can actually have a logistics chat with him. And then it's probably going to be like a 30-minute, 1-hour conversation to give him a report update, make sure that he's happy with everything. And then we'll do another training session after that. So I would say probably that's PST. So I like to operate on this guy. I would say it will probably end up being around 3:30, 4 p.m. EST is when I'll do the next one. And then we can go over and do those processes on the next one. We can do the actual checkout process that will generate an invoice so the guy can pay. We can do the clear order process that will just clear his order out so that he can start over if he's not happy with any of the stuff. And then we can do like some Facebook notification on the actual order status itself, or we'll actually go in and build out that checkout flow,
Right.
where we can go in and ask him, hey, where he says, yes, I do want to check out, where we're going to ask him, how do you want to pay? Is this going to be cash on delivery? So I guess we need to first ask him, is this going to be, delivery, dine in, or carry out? And then we're going to need to build out those flows where if it's going to be dine in, obviously I don't need to ask him for any payment at all if he's going to dine in, really, because he's going to physically
Right.
come to my restaurant. I also really don't need to ask him for payment if he's going to carry out. Now I can go ahead and ask him for payment and see if he wants to pay online, so that it's just prepaid. He can just run in and out and grab the stuff. So I can
Right.
do that. Or if it's going to be delivery, then I can ask him, do you want to pay now, or do you want to have cash on delivery? And then build out my different flows depending. I mean, obviously, if he says dine in, then I just my flow's pretty much over. I could just ask him, could you tell me when are you coming to dine in? When are you wanting to dine in, so that I could start getting everything prepared for him? Or maybe I could route him into a book a table flow or something like that. So we could work on building out those flows after that. So
Okay.
thanks, guys. See you guys again soon.
Thank you, John. Have a good meeting.
You too.
Okay.